Hey everyone, welcome to the Monday Mindset. Good morning to all of my Healthy Real Food Challenge community and the VIPs. Yeah, how are you guys? I hope that you had a great weekend. If you are new around here, I am Erin Hart. I'm a wife, a mom, a registered nurse health coach that is overcoming food addiction with a sugar and flour free lifestyle. And I'm here to share a message of hope with you other moms and caregivers and grandmas that have the goal of losing weight for the last time this year, but have a hard time prioritizing your self care. If you struggle with your relationship with food and your body and you want to get off of the dieting roller coaster ride with a sugar and flour free lifestyle, but you're struggling with perfectionism and the all or nothing mentality, this message is for you today. I am on this journey with you. I am on this journey too. I am a mom and a caregiver that experiences food addiction as well. And I understand the struggle, but there is hope. And if you're striving for food freedom and permanent weight loss so you can find peace with your food and your body, freedom from cravings, and the confidence to chase your dreams and fulfill your life's purpose, I want you to know that it's possible. But it's not usually a straight line to success, at least in my experience. And for those of you who feel discouraged because you're not perfect and you struggle with that all or nothing thinking, this message is for you today. I actually had a different topic planned for today, but I feel like I need to talk about something else. Today, I would just like to be really vulnerable and share with you that yesterday I binged for the first time in a long time, and it was awful. So today we are talking about compassionate curiosity. So when I started this journey to heal my relationship with food and to restore my health with the sugar and flour free lifestyle back in 2020, I found myself at 284 pounds. I was a nurse and a mom, and although I was never diagnosed, I recognize now that I experienced binge eating disorder. And over the course of 10 years, I had gained 120 pounds because I would just eat large amounts of food to cope with the emotions and the stresses of life. And I used food like a buffer to avoid feeling negative emotions. And so I had really tried everything at that point to lose weight, including like moderating, intuitive eating, calorie counting, so many different programs like Noom and Weight Watchers, and but nothing worked for me. And I felt so helpless and powerless and so discouraged. I remember just feeling so discouraged at that point in my life. So when I learned about the science of food addiction and I adopted a sugar and flour free lifestyle, like I finally found peace, and was able to get results. I lost 125 pounds and have now been maintaining a healthy weight for years. It's truly a miracle in my life. And that's why I became a health coach, to share this message of hope with you. But it hasn't always been easy, and it hasn't been a straight line to success in my experience. I've made so many mistakes along the way. And while for the past 3.5 years, I've stayed far away from sugar and flour, with the exception of maybe a handful of times when I chose to have a small amount, I've at times relapsed with binging on large quantities of compliant food. And yesterday was one of those times, unfortunately. So I found myself this weekend in a slippery slope situation. The kids were away for the weekend, so my husband and I had a little getaway, and we had some much needed time together and lots of rest and relaxation, and we had fun going to movies and out to dinner and stuff. We did a little staycation, and yeah, it was super fun. But a couple triggers that I've identified in my program over the last few years are vacations and buffets. And when I started this vacation, I I have just felt super strong in my program for the past couple of months. I just have been experiencing that peace with my food and my body, just that freedom from cravings. It's just felt super easy the last couple of months. And I guess I may have gotten a little bit overconfident and complacent. I didn't plan and prep like I normally try to do, and you know, I reckon like I didn't write down my food the night before, which is something that I've always had a habit of doing. So I did reach out to my coach ahead of this trip and just kind of let her know that I was going on vacation. Um, but because I felt so strong in my program lately, I was a little overconfident, and I didn't write down my food and prepare my food ahead of time. And so we went to a buffet, and you know, and and that went a little. I overdid it a little bit there, and and then the next day, I course corrected. I got right back on track and had a really great day back on track. But then yesterday, after my husband like made me this incredible meal and dished up a plate for me, which I usually weigh and measure all of my food at home. He was just so sweet and did that. And so I decided to use the one plate rule at home, and I didn't weigh my food, and I made an exception to have a green at that meal when I usually don't eat one. So it led me to, so that decision was a slippery slope moment for me. So that led me to make another exception and to get second helpings, which later led to another exception when I didn't weigh my third meal and I overate. And then, the what the hell effect turned into a secret binge, like when my husband left to go get the kids from his mom's house. And so I had like a secret binge on compliant food to the point that my stomach just felt so full. When my 4-year-old came home to snuggle with me and sit on my lap for the movie, it just was super painful. So it was, so I'm sharing this with you. And it's hard for me to, makes me want to cry. I'm sorry. But it's hard for me to share when I struggle publicly. I've had people criticize me and tell me that abstaining from sugar and flour isn't healthy and that it causes my binging. I've had people call me a hypocrite for being a health coach when I still struggle myself at times. And it's okay, because this message is not for them. It's for you. They don't understand that food boundaries are how I have made so much progress in overcoming binge eating, and that I'm on the same journey as my clients, just farther ahead. Right? So I share this experience with you. And because I think it's really important for you, my family here in this community, to see the whole picture of what food addiction recovery looks like for me. Not just on my good days, because if you also struggle with your relationship with food and you experience food addiction, your success path to sustainable weight loss will probably have some bumps in the road too. And I hope not. Like, I hope that you just jump in 100% and learn from my mistakes, not so you don't repeat them and you don't have to make the same mistakes that I have. But if you do, I want you to know that it's okay. You and I have permission to be human. Perfection is not a healthy standard for human women. And it's not about being perfect. To achieve success in this lifestyle, to be able to overcome our issues with food and to restore our health, we just have to be unstoppable. And while being all in and 100% is the preferred path, it is easier. It is the easier path mentally. And it's the path that I hope you take. I want to teach you a very important skill to help you to get back on track when you make a mistake with your program. And it's called the compassionate curiosity exercise. Oh, I didn't realize I was going to get so emotional um, sharing this with you. Uh, but anyway, I'm excited to talk to you about this self reflection exercise because I'm really good at this because I've done it so many times. And what I've learned is that just because you slip up doesn't mean you should give up. It's all about progress and not perfection. And while I wish that binge yesterday didn't happen and I regret it, I recognize that I'm binging less and less frequently. And, I used to binge every night before I started this lifestyle. And then, I went like a year without binging. In maintenance, when adding food, I there that kind of messed with my head a little bit, and I've had to learn. And there's been some times when binging has shown up more frequently, like every week or two. I would have a binge or overdo it, right? And but recently, like I've been going months without binging, and so while I'm not perfect at this yet, I recognize that I'm binging less and less frequently, and that it's progress. It's progress, and this experience that I had this weekend, it's just a learning opportunity that can help me to become stronger going forward if I take the time for self reflection. And it can be the same for you when you make a mistake with your program. Don't beat yourself up. It's not helpful to have that negative self talk, right? We need that compassionate self talk. The key to success with sustainable weight loss and food addiction recovery is constant course correction. So I call it the 3 C's. So compassionate curiosity, connection, and commitment to quickly and immediately get right back on track. And so what I did after my experience yesterday was immediately I did the opposite of what I wanted to do. I wanted to hide and isolate. So instead, I told my husband and I texted my support person, and I'm sharing this with you today, right? So connection and complete honesty with people that understand and are empathetic is so important in these moments. Empathy is how you combat shame. And this community is a shame-free zone. So this morning, I completed the compassionate curiosity exercise. So I do it on my iPad, but many of my clients like print it out and just write it out. And so this is kind of like what it looks like. And and it's just so important to not beat yourself up when you mess up. Like talk to yourself like you would a friend that's struggling. Speak compassionately to yourself and avoid that negative self-talk. It's all about being curious. So this worksheet is a self-reflection exercise that really helps us to make our mistakes into learning opportunities that can help us to become stronger going forward, even stronger than if we hadn't made the mistake in the first place, because now I have learned things from that experience. And so for those of you who are in my coaching program, This is the sheet you turn into me along with your weekly check-in sheet and your weight tracker for accountability each week. And for those of you who don't know, the questions are, so what was the situation? What happened? What triggered the events? Identifying your triggers is really important, and it can help you to avoid or anticipate them or change your environment in the future. So what I like to do is write down a whole list of all my triggers. And when I find myself making a mistake or going off plan, I try to identify what the trigger was and where the slippery slope started. Because in the future, when I'm faced with that same situation, or I have another trip coming up, or I have, you know, or I'm going to a buffet again, right? Like identifying your triggers is really important because then you can anticipate them and change the way you approach that situation in the future. So, the second question is just like, what specific thoughts or urges preceded the decision to take action off of your plan? This is really important because our thoughts are so powerful, and when you're trying to up level your life and change your relationship with food, and lose weight for the last time, it really is such a mental game. And our thoughts are powerful. So identifying the specific thoughts that preceded your decision to take action off of your plan can help you to identify limiting beliefs or limiting thoughts that are holding you back. The third question, how did it feel before, during, and after? And this self-reflection I find really helpful because a lot of times we want to downplay it, like maybe just not think about it, just move on. But doing this self-reflection is so helpful because, recognizing how it felt before, during, and after can help you to identify, like if it, well, for me, for example, um, after I binged yesterday, I felt terrible, like awful. And it was a great reminder to me of how abusing my body in this way by binging, just makes me feel so physically ill and also like emotionally distressed, right? I have so much more peace when I am following my plan. Um, and I have so much more energy. Working out today, I'm sure it's going to be a little more challenging for me than on my normal days when I have so much energy and feel so light and free, right? So it's really helpful for me to just recognize how sick it makes me feel when I eat that way, or if you ever get into the sugar and flour, a lot of people just say they feel so inflamed and they feel achy in their joints, right? And you can just see like the effect that it has on you, on your body and your mind and your heart and your spirit, right? And so for me, I found it really helpful to just see just how it is so not worth it to go down that slippery slope, right? Because that caused me a lot of pain. Like I had a terrible headache after, my stomach hurt. This morning I just feel more lethargic, right? And so it's just helpful for me to do that because James Clear in his book Atomic Habits, he teaches the keys for long-term behavioral change. And what he says is to break an old habit, you really want to make it undesirable. And so doing this self-reflection and just recognizing that, that caused me so much physical pain when I did that. Or like I've had clients who've gotten back into the sugar and flour and they just feel so sick, right? It helps us to recognize that that it's very undesirable. Like when people say that that food is poison to me, like some people use that as a mantra, like that's not my food, it's poison to me. It's actually really true, right? When it makes you feel physically ill, and it robs your energy, right? It's just really helpful as you're going forward next time that you're faced with that decision to just remember that it is just not worth it. I'm going to feel so much better not going down this path. The next question is, did I write down my food last night? So I attribute almost all my success in this lifestyle to that one habit of writing down my food the night before and eating that and exactly what I wrote down. But like I said, I became a little complacent and overconfident this weekend, and over the past couple of months, I haven't been as consistent with that habit. And now I'm recognizing that even though I was feeling so strong before, because I didn't write down my food in that moment of weakness, it really was like a safety net that I didn't have. And so writing down your food the night before is so important. And I've always known that, in maintenance after 3.5 years, like up until the last couple months, I have been super consistent at that. And while the last few months I've felt that it's been very easy and effortless for me, and I haven't been as consistent with that habit, I can see that played a factor in my decisions this weekend. And so it really is just a safety net that helps you in those moments when you are faced with a big trigger that throws you off guard, right? And so that next question is, did I implement my course correction plan? And that is something I also did not do, which I usually do. And so a course correction plan is just a plan to help you to avoid going off plan when you recognize an urge or a trigger. It's like the steps you have in place to help you to avoid going off plan. And mine involves immediately texting my support person. And while I did it the weekend or like a day before, I didn't do it in the moment. But in the past, texting my support person in the moment when I'm faced with the decision of whether or not to eat on my plan or off, right? When you're having an urge or a craving, that sometimes is enough to just kind of bring me out of it and help me. But I decided not to for some reason. And so my course correction plan includes reaching out to my buddy, creating physical distance between me and the trigger, and then just finding a place to pray and to ask God to take away the trigger and to take away the urge or craving, to help strengthen me in that moment, to distract myself. So those are things that I didn't practice. Like, this is my course correction plan that I've done for so long, and I didn't implement it. So if I would have, I think I would have had a much different result. So do you see like how it's really helpful, because the next question is like, what can I learn from this experience, and how am I going to approach this situation differently next time? So I learned the importance of writing down my food the night before and implementing my course correction plan. And also just the power of my thoughts. I found my brain kind of like negotiating with itself. And anytime you find yourself negotiating with yourself, you know that you're not in the higher part of your brain. So when I'm like saying like, oh, I'll just do the 1 plate rule, or, I don't need to text my buddy, right? That those are like cues that you're not in your higher part of your brain. And so what I've learned, and So that question is like, what can I learn? How will I approach this situation differently next time? And then what is my next step to immediately course correct and return to my plan? So, so for me, after that happened, um, to my credit, like I texted my support person, I talked to my husband about it, and got support there. And then reaching out and sharing this, being vulnerable and sharing this with you is all really something that helps me so much to in my food addiction recovery. You know, for people who are in like AA or other 12-step programs, the first step is honesty. And so being honest with myself, being honest with other people, it's a really important step for me to immediately course correct and return to my plan. So yeah, my plan is so last night I wrote down my food for today, and I committed my food, and and I'm bookending with my support person and with you. Okay. So, yeah, like what I do when I have a moment like this is I bookend for like the next 3 days. I like increase my, my accountability to help me to quickly course correct, because this for some people could turn into months or years of struggle, right? Like when you just go down that spiral out of control. Instead of that, like what we want to do is just like tighten it up quickly, bring it, and then just get right back on track. And one thing that I find really helpful is just remembering that every day is a new day. Today is a new day. And when I woke up this morning, I said that out loud to myself. I said, today is a new day. And yeah, I got right back on track. And so I just wanted to share with you this process and my process for when I make a mistake, in hopes that if you are someone who has started a sugar and flour free lifestyle, or you haven't yet and you're worried if you can stick to it, like I just want you to know that while 100% is the preferred path, it is the easier path, so much easier. Um, you do have permission to be human, and when you do make a mistake, don't beat yourself up. Just be curious with yourself. Do the self-reflection. Be kind to yourself, and never lose hope. Because no matter how far off we go, we can always come back to this process, to what we know works. And I know that like a sugar and flour free lifestyle has brought my life so much peace when I follow it. And when I don't, I lose that peace. But there's always hope. Like you can always come back. Every day is a new day. And no matter how long it's been that you've been struggling in the ditch, it just takes one decision to get right back on track. So the people that win the game of weight loss are the people that stay in the game. So keep going. Keep a forward focus. Like don't dwell on your past mistakes. Like you're driving your car down the road, you're not going to spend the whole time looking in the rearview mirror because you're going to crash. Look forward and learn from your mistakes. Use them as a stepping stone to help you um, to to not make those mistakes in the future. And that is the growth mindset, right? It's like we have to be really bad at this at first to become a master at it. And most people are not perfect at this in the beginning, right? Like it's going to feel hard, and you're going to face challenges and obstacles. But if you just keep that mindset of unstoppability and you quickly course correct every time you go off plan, that is the key to sustainable weight loss. And we can have these mistakes happen, but you don't have to give up just because you slip up. So I hope by me sharing this that you know that you're not alone. Be kind to yourself, love yourself, even when you make a mistake. You are worthy and you're loved and you're valued no matter what you eat or weigh, and your mistakes can become your best teachers. So today is a new day, and I'm going to win the day today. Sometimes we just have to take it one day at a time, and that's okay. Every day is a new beginning. I love springtime because it's just a reminder, and March is it's almost spring, right? So as the flowers pop up and they're starting to bloom, just remember new beginnings. That you can have a new beginning every day. So if you aren't yet in my program and you're curious about what more I teach to help you to overcome food addiction, and these are things I do and practice myself, obviously, as I've shared with you today. But I want to invite you to join the Healthy Real Food Challenge. I'm going to have a upcoming challenge on March 19th through the 22nd. It's a 4-day live, immersive, interactive experience to help you to give your weight loss program some rocket fuel. We're going to be meeting for about 90 minutes each day, and I'll be teaching you the success framework that helped me to lose 125 pounds and be able to find peace with food and freedom from cravings and maintenance on most days, right? And you're going to learn how to master your mindset, how to develop a winning strategy, and learn how to overcome perfectionism and the all or nothing mentality so you can consistently execute your plan. Now is the time to take action toward your health goals, because if not now, when? So don't delay. A better life really is on the other side of stepping into this challenge, the Healthy Real Food Challenge. So I can't wait to share those success secrets with you, and I hope that you'll join me. So it's March 19th through the 22nd. If you're not in my program yet and you're curious about what I teach, if you can learn there. So if you haven't yet registered, be sure to get your free ticket today. You can go to So go ahead and just click the link in my bio to find a link to the challenge and sign up. So there are limited spots available, so be sure to grab that today. I am sending all my love to you, and I'm cheering you on in your health journey. Don't be perfect, be unstoppable. Have a great day.